Hello everybody, I'm a Rainbow, and I'm going to be showing you how to disassemble and reassemble the Quest 3 controller. And I'm going to do this for a couple of reasons. One, I need a disassembly and reassembly video, and the other is I want to find out what kind of transducer, the joystick, is in these guys. And I'm hoping it's a good one, but who knows. This one is a brand new one that I got with my Quest 3. And yes, I am going to tear it apart. So if I can't put it back together, I won't be playing. Based on taking lots of Quest 2 controllers apart, I'm going to guess right off the bat that I've got to take this paper off there to get screws out of here. This comes right off. And I'm going to go ahead and peel that off. And I might cut that out of the video because there's no point in you watching me do that. But I'll get an X-Acto knife and just peel it off, and we'll keep going from there. That is actually much sturdier than the one that was in the Quest 2. I could probably put that one back in there if I really needed to. But it comes out, and I see 1, 2, 3, 4 screws here that we're going to take out. And so to start with, let's go ahead and do this. And just for reference, I'll just say battery. We got a screw here, screw here, screw here, and a screw here. And I believe it's a T5. That's what I'm trying first. And it's definitely a T5. Before I take those out, I'm going to go ahead and pop that cover off right there. To do that, there are sensors or IR lights, I'm not sure which is which, up under this ring. I know they're not in this area here, which is where the plastic pry tool comes in. You could potentially use a screwdriver, but I don't like using the metal there. And I'm pretty sure I can get it up with my nail. Probably plenty of black stuff on there, so you want to be careful. We're going to pry up from here. I don't want to touch any other sensors, so pay attention to that location. And then I expect this to be a little bit of a fight. And I don't want to go very far because, oops, screwdriver will have a tendency to break the plastic, not the other way around. And I don't want to break that cover. I just want it to give. So the two pieces of plastic are a better option. Usually doesn't leave marks behind either. This guy, oh, we're gonna get there. You can see some of the sensors there. I'm actually gonna skip over here to a spot where I don't see one. Whoop, maybe I am. Get a little leverage there. Hope that comes out in the video. Same thing here. Gonna go past the sensor. There we go. And it's coming loose. Plenty of that black stickum. When I put this thing back together, I'm going to take all of that out before I put it in there. There's no need for it. Most of the time these will stay on just fine, and if they won't, a small piece of tape in a couple of spots should do the trick. Alright, so we've got the cover off. Let's go ahead, and while we're here, I'm going to annotate and find all the screws that I can see. So we'll call this thumb, A and B. And this is just a good habit to get into if you're taking stuff apart for the very first time, so you know where everything is. There's a screw there. Oh, and these are all T5, I think. We'll find out. I don't know if they're all the same size or not. We're going to find that out as well. And I see one right here. I'm going to draw an arrow so I don't miss that one. That'd be the one screw I have left over because I don't notice it. Definitely going down into the handle, but I expect at least one more of these goes down into that plastic there somewhere. But let's go ahead and take these off first. T5 driver, and T stands for Torx. It's actually like it's also called a star driver. If you don't have one, good to get one. Not hard to come by. No other screws there to take apart. This guy looks like he's attached there. I am going to go ahead and there's some ribbon cable in here somewhere, but we'll deal with that as we go. Long one right there. Still a T5. I'm going to call that long. That way we'll know. Oh, well, I already know this thing is working. Sorry, this is out of order, but what you want to do is make sure the battery's in there and it blinks 3 times. That tells you that the circuit board's working, it's got power, and everything should be. If it's not, if it blinks differently than 3 steady blinks like that, there's a problem with it. It's good to do that before you start, so you'll know that if you don't have something attached, it's your fault. Of course, you took it apart, so you know it's your fault. But you can look, I already beat it up on something. And let's this has got to snap out of here. These are all loose. Everything should be good. I'm going to use the pry tool right here. Here we go. Oh. It's definitely feels like it's caught in something on the bottom. Not missing any screws. Worked it off. What's you look right there, there's a little clip, which means putting this back on, I need to catch the bottom to get this in here and then put in here. Oh, and there's the round bit. Ooh, careful before I get too excited that I have to get in there. Let's take a look at this real quick. It's obviously going to come apart from here. What do we need? What else do we need to disconnect? All right, I see a ribbon cable right there. Ooh, so there's got to be a way to take this apart and access the ribbon cable. But before we do that, there's an RF connector right here. Let's pop this off. To take these off, you lift up the edge and it just kind of rolls right out. Same thing when you put it back, get the edge down and snap it in. Do not force it. So that ribbon cable is ready to come loose. I'm going to disconnect it from here, but when we put it back together, I'm going to have to hook it up on this side. For now, we're going to use our tweezers. There's a little latch there. You might not be able to see it very well, but it snaps up and then the ribbon cable comes right out. There we go. We got the top part of this. This piece is loose in here with the screws. Oh, it just comes right off. And okay. So this is, I'm assuming this is the motor, or I think somebody said they had a speaker in here. that actually does the vibration. And that's wires going to that, so we want to disconnect those. There we go. Got my nail in. So I've got that disconnected. I'm going to go ahead and throw the latch on here. It's not down anymore. And slide that ribbon cable out. And my guess is it's stuck to something. This just comes apart, lifts right out. Shouldn't be anything else we need to do with that bit. Now, I want to very carefully. You might say, why are you doing this, Rainbow? It's because I think when I put this back together, ran into this on the Quest 2, the ribbon cable. The first video I did, I was just stressing the heck out of that ribbon cable. This way, if I attach it here and then just lay it in there and attach it, we should be good. And this is sticky right here. I am going to go get some alcohol and clean this off so it is not sticky anymore. And I'm going to go do that right now. I'm back. Oh, by the way, ESD, it's always good around electronics. Try to make sure you're grounded before you work on things. And I have an ESD strap. So I couldn't get it all off there, but I got it so it was not sticky anymore. And before we proceed, let's go ahead and make sure we annotate what we took apart. And this goes in there like that. So I want to keep that there. Doesn't have to be perfect, just good enough to give you an idea. Pull that handle. You know that. And then we have that connector there. And we'll call that 5. Annotate this one. And what do we see? We've got a ribbon cable there for the transducer. Trans, that's right there. The ribbon cable that goes to the battery is right there. Battery. I've got another small one right here. We'll take a look at the other side. It looks like it goes to the ring sensors or IR lights. I'll just say IR since I don't know for sure. Looking. Oh, and I have the RF connector right there. And then there's a screw here and a screw here. I'll say T5, I'm just guessing, but I assume that's correct, and they're probably the same as the other ones. Also, note the spring is grounded right here to the board on there. So let's make sure we annotate that spring. So let's go ahead and undo the ribbon cables. Flip the latches. Disconnect them. Everything's disconnected. I'm going to put my thumb here, which, since I'm grounded, all should be well. But if you're not, you want to be careful of that. You don't want to short out the components on your board, because then it's worthless. Gonna get that right there. Now, taking a quick look at this, let's see what this. Oh, by the way, while we're here, the sensors that go around here, you want to be careful of those. Don't bend them. Touching them won't hurt, but if you bend them or break them, you're out of luck. I'm going to lift that and hopefully just, there we go. That's out. And then these, so your A and B will only fit, they're notched, they're only going to fit in the A and B slots. And you don't have to worry about the meta button, it's stuck in there. There's the transducer. And this is the exact same kind that is in the Quest 2, which means it's going to drift. So at some point you're either going to need to clean it or replace it or repair the transducer, all of which I had videos for the Quest 2. Same thing for this one though. I don't have those yet, but I'll get to them. Got to get one that's drifting on me first. All right, call that trans. T5. All right, so 2 screws there. There's our transducer. Now, I popped this out, but then I couldn't pop it back on. And that, oh Christ. You could pull it out, but you're not going to get it back in. That's a problem, especially if you want to clean by just popping this off. Would we be able to? We might still be able to access it if we just tip it to the side. All right, let me try this. I'm just going to check this real quick. If that's in, can I? No, I cannot. While you're here, I would tell you to take this bit right here and you want to file this down so that it will fall straight through there. The reason I tell you to do that is you'll be able to pull it out and clean down inside of there with some contact cleaner, some alcohol. With this on, it doesn't get in there very well and gets all over the place. You might still get some in there, but the best bet was to squirt some right down around there. So we're going to modify this. We're going to take a file and just make this smaller so that it fits down inside of there. I'm going to do this quick and dirty, but I'm not going to make everybody watch this. I'm just going to file those edges around until it's enough that it'll fit. Filed on it, drops right through. Can I push it back? Should be able to get it off. If I need to get back on, I can file it. I'm satisfied with that. That is more work than anybody should have to do, but if you're going to clean this in the future, you're going to want to do it. All right, let's continue on. I'm just going to go ahead and put this back together. There's no reason not to. Get the transducer on now. All right, transducer's installed. Now we got to do the circuit board. And let's get the buttons in. You can't put A and B in the wrong spot. Otherwise they don't work. Just like that. Alrighty, here we go. Clip in the back. So we want to get that clip up under. Oops. Now get him in there. Clip's still on top of the board. Seems like it's lined. I don't want to get this ribbon cable pinched. That's all good. There we go. 2 little plastic detents. When you got those, you're in the right spot. Let's get screws in the board. All right, the board's in, the screws are tightened down. Everything looks good. Let's get the ribbon cables. And if you're not sure when you're putting it back together, just refer back to your chart. You know, the one you made on the piece of paper or the napkin. Say, did I do that? Ribbon cables, everything's good. And we have this one RF sensor, but we'll put that in when we start putting it all back together. And now here's where the ribbon cable comes in. I'm going to go ahead and install that. All right, let's get that ribbon cable installed. Correct. I believe it does, because that sticky part was on there. Okay, and let's get this piece. Drop the trigger, just drops the trigger in there. Make sure you're not pinching that ribbon cable. It should just seat down, and it does. We're going to take one screw and drop it in. Oops, drop it. Period. There we go. And I'm just going to attach this just a little bit because I don't want it to fall apart. I want to hold it in place. Let's go ahead and get this RF connector right here. Get it on angle, snaps it down, drop the L bit into the shield right there. Now there's a detent right there. Let's make sure we drop that back into there. We want to make sure we're not pinching the ribbon cable. And then this one, which is probably going to be my nemesis, because it's so tiny. Oh, look at that. That's in. Now I know I have to lift this bit over here to make this all go together. So I'm going to make sure this is, I want to leave that screw in there, but I want to strip it out. All right, I think I have enough leverage, leeway. Oops. So we got to put that bit aligned there so that when we snap it all together, everything is good. So trigger. And push the trigger down a little bit. All right, I can feel the bottom's in there. Now I just have to snap the rest of this together and make sure everything stays lined up. Yep, that's snapped in. There we go. All right, everything looks good. I am not going to put anything else together right now. Make sure you're not putting anything. Let's throw the battery in. And we're looking for 3 blinking lights. That's good. That means everything should be as good as it was electrically when we started. Let's go ahead and get all our screws back in. And I'm going to start with this nice long one right there. All the screws are back in. I don't have any spares. That's all good. This is all back together. Let's see. All is well there. And I can now pop that off and back on. You see it working. Brilliant. And we can put this guy on, even though I still got all the crappy black stuff in there. Button works, button works, button works. All is well. Triggers don't do anything. Oops. Almost forgot the most important bit. Don't fly off and hit the wall. All right, everybody. That's how you do it. I'm a Rainbow. I'm happy to walk you through all this. If you got questions, please hit me up in the comments. Glad to answer. All right, everybody. Y'all be good. Take care now. Bye-bye.